Hello everyone, and welcome back to more Sonic Colors for the Nintendo Wii. And in this episode, we will be heading off to...
Next up, the Aquarium Park. This underwater attraction is the perfect place to commune with sea life, and hopefully get chummy with a shark.
Yep, pretty much what Eggman said there. We're going to be going off to Aquarium Park, and my opinions on this whole world map side of things is really different compared to all the other ones, mainly just because this is the worst one I find in order to get all the red rings and S ranks. You'll see what I mean as we go through it, so let's begin.
Welcome to the exotic aquarium. Any water you may notice on the floor is the result of our diligent house cleaning staff's mopping, and not evidence of a dangerous leak in the... Oh, heck with it. Run for your lives!
When it comes to the visual side of Aquarium Park, that's what's pretty. I mean, it's an aquarium in space, right? Where can you go wrong with that? I remember when I first got to this area in 2010, I was mind blown. It looked so pretty to me and everything as a kid, and even the soundtrack as well. I remember also that when this came out, a lot of people really liked the soundtrack to Aquarium Park, and I can see why. It's got a nice melody to it with a piano and everything, and it sounds really nice. But the thing that suffers for Aquarium Park, for me personally, and maybe other people as well, is the structure of it, to get the S ranks and the red rings. Mainly because in this one, you need, I kid you not, 2,200,000 points. Yes, that high. And another thing that's weird is it doesn't matter how much color bonus you get or how fast you clear it, you also need rings at the end. Which kind of breaks the thing that I said in episode 1, because if you remember before, I was saying that, oh, rings in Sonic games, even though a lot of people think you need that for a high score and stuff to get the best rank, they're really just to preserve you and make sure you don't die, so if you get hit, doesn't matter. Nope, not in the Aquarium Park. You need those rings, or else you ain't gonna get it. It doesn't matter how much color bonus or anything that you get, it will not register. Not even the time. And you'll see exactly what I mean when we get towards the end of it. The red rings are also spread out in a really weird way on this one, mainly just because I can't get them all along the way. I have to backtrack. So what I'm doing at the minute is getting the laser and then using it to get this red ring. Because for some reason, for this one, this is way up high. I need to activate a switch at the very bottom. However, if I took the bottom route underwater, I would not be able to get this unless I turned around and went the other way. So it's really weird, you just can't literally get all 3 red rings in one shot along the way. There are about 2 acts though, I will admit, in Aquarium Park that I really like the design of. Mainly just because it's fun to play through casually, but it's also fun to try and get the best ranks. You know, this one just feels like they didn't really test it that much at all, especially with the placement of red rings. I got that one right there, and instead of going to the right, I have to go backwards this time. Which brings me on to another thing to talk about actually, which Sonic Colors did for the very first time, and I kind of like it to be honest. Infinite jumps underwater. Like before in other Sonic games, when you were underwater, all you could do was jump once, but no, you can literally mash the A button as much as you want, and Sonic would just float to the surface. Not to mention that drilling underwater is also really cool. Especially compared to Sweet Mountain, because if you remember before, in that place, whenever the gauge depleted and we were underground, Sonic would die due to all the suffocation and air not getting to him. Whereas with underwater, if the gauge runs out, you literally just turn back into Sonic. There's nothing to crush you, all you literally do is you just pop outside of it, and that's nice. Not to mention that drilling underwater is a lot faster than before. But you saw right there, the red ring was all the way back there to the side of the corner, so I had to bounce off and get that one. And you're going to find me a lot of the times as well trying to get as many rings as possible in this and get color bonus, because that's really the crucial thing when it comes to this. The other red ring is literally after getting this drill part, go up to the very top, go for the right, and it's just through there. Now, they really could have just easily fixed that by literally putting another red ring somewhere at the bottom here, not at the very top, because see, if I popped out of there, that platform that I was supposed to take in order to get the one at the very top will not be there, so I'd have to backtrack. I'm basically just saying in this one a lot of backtracking is required, and that's mainly what drags this out a bit. I remember when I was streaming this actually and practicing all of it, it just took me forever to try to find stuff, and it was more frustrating to find that I also needed 2,200,000 points to get the best grade. This one's nice though. Literally, you just pop up, Wall jump, and that's it. It's there. You have optional ways to get it as well, because even though I did do a wall jumping tactic, I think what you're really supposed to do is get the drill wisp, drill all around it, and then pop out at the surface of the water, giving you a boost. But for some reason, even if you just jump out of it, going slow as Sonic, he'll still jump at like the same altitude. So it's really weird. This is the part though where I'm trying to grind as much for rings. I have like 500 rings over that, in fact. And I'm just going to go all around killing all these fish as much as possible, because the points at the minute are at 1,100,000 over that. But remember, we need 2,200,000, so let's see if I got it with this one. Alright, we're on an A rank so far. The time? Okay, not enough. What about those 500 rings? Ah, there we go. There's the S rank. If it was not for those rings, literally that's it. The S rank would be gone. And I spent like about nearly 5 minutes on this level. Do you see where I'm getting at with this? It is absolutely ridiculously designed in that asset, and I spent a while in relief.
Please avoid breaking the glass, as it is the only thing between you and 10 million gallons of freezing wet death.
Ah, it's a little bit dark, Eggman, but cheers for the heads up, I guess? Anyway, this is at number 2 of Aquarium Park, a lot shorter compared to the first one, and thank God, because that one dragged on a hell of a lot. The S rank required for this one, though, requires you to basically use a lot of the cube wisp, and it's a little bit difficult, actually, considering the fact that when you use the cube and transform all the rings into blocks, that doesn't really count towards points. The only ones that do is when you collect the blue rings and defeat enemies with the blocks. So it's kind of weird how that works in ways. This area, though, is also going to bring up another part that I'm not really too much of a fan of what they did to the homing attack in this game, and the fact that all you have to do is press the A button to do it again. I mean, it worked fine in, like, the adventure days, because literally there was no double jump. You see, that's the problem. I have to press A twice in order to double jump, but it also means I can do a homing attack. So there are sometimes times in this game when I will literally just want to do a short little double jump or something, but due to the reticle suddenly appearing out of nowhere, I will do a homing attack instead. It was changed a little bit like this in Unleashed, because you could use the boost button instead to homing attack. Now personally for me, I would really prefer that, because on this little section right here, I'm having to not even double jump, because even if I tried to just get a little double jump to stop myself from dying, I would randomly home an attack on the nearest enemy and hit a wall or something and then fall down. I had that happen way too many times in this, and man, it was frustrating. It's not the hugest bugbear though, mainly just on that act, because all the other ones don't really require you to do that kind of thing. I never really encountered it, especially in the next world coming up or anything, so it's pretty much only for Act 2 of Aquarium Park. And that's how you get the S rank. On to Act number 3, I love this one!
This exotic aquarium contains many rare and endangered species. Enjoy them with a delicious soy glaze at the Bucket of Sushi restaurant.
Really? That's your idea? Yeah, that's definitely gonna stop them going extinct, Eggman. Definitely. I really love that PA. You know what else I really like as well? At number 3 of Aquarium Park. Like, no, for real. I'm serious. The design in Act number 3 is really good when it comes to the S ranks, red rings, and just overall everything. Even playing for it casually, visually, and just everything. I love it so much. Especially this part right here where we use a rocket. Because before, the gauge only lasted a little bit of a while, but on our way up there, we actually hit another wisp container with the rocket, allowing us to go higher. Meaning that you see it go even higher with the music, and there's a little splash at the end, and it's just, oh man, it's super satisfying. Also, there's a little bit of a pattern on this level. Notice how the red rings are all at the top. They're not at the bottom, they're not all over the place, they're literally just conveniently at the top, just in case if I actually want to get them, and each one actually just requires the rocket. You see, that's the way I like it when it comes to trying to collect the rings. Make them optional to get, but don't make them super challenging and ridiculous to find. This is a Sonic game, remember? I want to try to be quick trying to find stuff. And it's not Metroid trying to go all around the place and finding items. I'm not dissing Metroid, but I'm just saying it doesn't really belong in Sonic. I believe I mentioned about this before, actually. It's also nice as well how each of the red rings, whenever you go sky high, are literally on a 2D perspective, meaning you can find them easily. And that was the second one. Where's the third one? It's literally right next to it, right here. So I had the option of actually going to the top and going fast level, but I can take a quick detour down to the right, boost myself up, and it's to the left. That's what I want. Because in my opinion, the other ones that we went through, especially Act 1 of Aquarium Park, gave me a lot of vibes and horrible memories, actually, of Sonic Advance 2. You know what I'm talking about, right? Those special rings. You needed all 7 of them in one single shot, which made it even worse, actually. At least in colors, you don't necessarily have to get them all in one take through level, because it will save as long as you clear the act. Sonic Advance 2, no way. You had to literally memorize every single one, collect them, and also finish the stage at the same time. So, at least you gotta give credit to colors for that. You don't necessarily have to get all of them like me. I just like doing it because that's just the way I am whenever it comes to playing Sonic games. I try to get everything done in one shot through a level. Gotta go fast, right? Also notice how I took a hit from rings, right? Usually in all the other ones, I'd be like, oh man, I'm gonna have to restart that because they help you boost it towards your S ramp. But a cool thing with the Frenzy Wisp is when I activated it and was going all over the place, the bigger I got, the more I sucked in the nearest rings. And because of that, I've nearly got 600. And there's that as well. That fun little thing at the end. If you have enough boost, you can just go through all the enemies and get a big old slam bonus at the very end. And it makes getting the S rank super satisfying, but fun. You know, I didn't really find myself having to repeat Act 3 barely at all. In fact, I think I got the S rank first time from just mucking about, so I love it.
What are you waiting for? Climb aboard the exotic aquarium for a boatload of... who writes this dribble?
You do, boss.
Oh, you're right, I do! I'm hilarious!
Alright, this next act right here sucks. Like, so bad. Compared to Act 3, anyway, because this one requires so much exploring and trying to find stuff, and it's really stressful trying to get all the red rings and S ranks for this. In my opinion, anyway, from what I've gone through. Because this one requires you, at the very beginning, to go to the left to find the red ring, although that's not too bad. It's more or less later on when it gets a little bit confusing, not even terms of the locations of all the red rings, more of just how to get them. It just seems a little bit random and like they threw it in at the very last minute, considering they wanted to get this game out by around November of 2010. That's the kind of vibes that I get from anyway. It's weirdly enough, the next world that we're going to go to actually has a lot better design. So it's almost like they were rushed to get Aquarium Park done, but actually thought, okay, let's make sure that the final world is actually done. Because, yes, that's it. After this, we're literally on the final planet in order to go through and stop those generators and all sorts, assuming you even remember we're supposed to be shutting the generators down in the first place, considering that was kind of sprung up at the last minute, if you ask me. This next bit coming up right here, though, is very puzzling. Yeah, there's puzzles in a Sonic game for some reason, except... Okay, at first I was against this because I thought, why do you have to do this? But it's not really too hard to figure it out. It's mainly just use the laser and follow whereabouts the rings are, align them with the laser, shoot it, and then off you go. And it's not that bad. To start with, it does look a bit confusing because you're like, what? What am I supposed to do? But the rings are your guidance for that. Not to mention that when you actually get that done, you can literally just go down here, and inconveniently, they thought to put this straight path right here. Man, that all I have to do is just boost to the very end, and then there's a red ring. And at the very end, there is a drill wisp, allowing me to make my way back, but also collect color bonus at the same time. This is probably the only part that I consider the red rings are quite conveniently placed, because literally after doing that really difficult one to solve the puzzle, there's one right next to me. You can't miss it. And I like how also the camera changes angle so that then my eyes will focus on and see that, oh yeah, there's a water bit down there. Let me have a quick explore. And then suddenly to my left, I'm like, oh wow, there's this huge thing. Oh look, a red ring. Well, fancy that. This part right here, though, is going to have me grinding a lot for the color bonus, mainly just for this bit right here. And you'll find in a second, I'm actually going to cut ahead, or at least fade away, because I spent so long going round in circles collect as much color bonus as possible, because this one also requires quite high points in order to get the S rank. So that definitely cut out a lot of the things instead of you waiting, because you really don't want to see me just go around in circles constantly all the time. I already said about this in episode 1 though, didn't I? The next bit is a little weird. I get the red ring. It's trapped behind these boxes, which are breakable. But the way you have to break the boxes, as far as I can see anyway, from my experimentation with this game, is the laser. You need to have a laser at your disposal in order to take care of it. Because there's nothing else that seems to destroy them. It just seems a bit weird. I mean, we're taught at this point, right? The laser can bounce off walls, it can hit those teleportation things and warp us all around the place, as well as bounce off all those diamonds. Yeah, weirdly enough, you use it here, you break through these boxes, and that's how you get the red ring. I have no idea why. I feel like probably on that bit, they were probably meant to put maybe a spike wisp or something. It just seems a little bit random that you need the laser wisp in order to get that, considering when you go in, all you do is bounce all over the place. No, it seems a little tad weird to me. This is a little sort of mini-boss kind of thing, except we don't actually attack it, we mainly just run away from it. The one thing I will recommend, though, when you're at this point is boost. Boost! Boost away from this thing, because for some reason they screwed something up. On the very first bit that I was right there, if he catches up to you and you have no boost, you can actually just jump. But on the second bit, you can't. Meaning that if you don't have any boost, by the time you get to this bit, you're dead. Because the thing's just going to keep constantly hitting you, you're going to die and have to redo things. It's just, why? I mean, all they let you had to do was just make sure you could jump on the next bit. It doesn't make any sense that you can do it first time, but the second time you can't. And there's not even like a boost capsule to help you out. So you kind of just have to preserve it as much as possible. Also, I kind of broke the rank right here. Usually it goes A, then an S, you know, summing up the time and the rings, but no, it just did it immediately. Anyway, that's it for the end of this episode, so we'll go through more of Aquarium Park in the next one.